What is a life coach is the topic of today's video. Hi, my name is Armand Dupuy, and I've been a life coach for almost half a century now, so I might have an opinion on the subject. Now, whether you want affordable professional life coaching or you would like to be trained as a life coach, I've got some great news for you. So listen up. Now, if you're saying, I need a life coach, or if you don't know what's a life coach, I'm going to do my best to give you a very short but in-depth understanding about life coaching in general, and you're going to love what you're going to hear. Now, if you're looking for an online life coach, you need to hear this so that you don't lose thousands of dollars, and you'll understand in a moment. Now, I'm going to reveal the 3 main points that you have to evaluate when you're looking for a life coach. And if you don't look at these points, it's at your own peril. Now, you need to evaluate this properly, but most people don't know where to start. That's the problem. But first, what is a life coach? Let's get into depth of this a little bit. Now, there are many types of life coaches, and in my opinion, there are 2 main categories. And first of all, you have specialty coaches, and I'll explain that in a moment. And secondly, you have whole life coaching. Now, let's look at specialty coaches. What do we mean by that? What do I mean by that? Well, you could have a coach, for example, that's a business coach. Now, here's a specialty coach that is coaching you in life, so that you can succeed in business. You could have a dating coach, same thing. A hockey coach, a spiritual coach. Here we have to be a little bit careful because a lot of people who claim to be spiritual coaches are trying to program your mind into a belief system of a particular religion, for example. Okay, so you have to be careful there. You want a real spiritual coach, not one that tries to guide you into one religion or another, regardless of what they are. Now, have a relationship coach, same thing, and a weight loss coach. Now, here's the issue. You can take any of these and so many others, and once you have, let's say, you find a coach in one of these areas, doesn't matter which one. What you need to know is that at least 95% of the coaches in that specialty haven't got a clue. They're just, regurgitating what other people have said, taking a bit from here, a bit from there, putting it together, and now they've got this automated course on videos, and the price is $2,000, okay? But they don't really know the essence of what's really going on. You have about 5% who really know what you're doing, and 1% that are really top of the line. Now, so unless you know how to make these life's principles a part of you and integrate them into your being, they are worth squat to you. Zero, nada, zilch. Okay? Here's the thing. You see, let's look at whole life coaches. Now, there are a lot of coaches who claim to teach whole life, but they're not, and I'm going to explain how you tell the difference. Now, real whole life coaching is coaching life, or life coaching, in the 3 areas of your life that you have to evolve in order to achieve the ultimate as a human being. Because if you accomplish that, you will succeed at everything, anything you set your heart to. Not an issue, but you have to have these 3 in balance. So let's look at whole life coaching. Real whole life coaching. What is it really? Well, first of all, you have to take control of your mind. I mean, that's key. You have to take control of your mind. And secondly, you have to experience the infinite energy which is powering you. Scientists call that the life force. Okay, very critical. Most people don't look at that. And you have to also take responsibility for your body. I mean, that's the bottom line, because look, what do you really have that you can call your own? You say, okay, I have a body. You can't say, if you look at your hand, you can't say that I am the hand. No, you say, I have a hand, I have a body. And you can't say I am the mind, because since you have a body, you're just not the mind, right? So you can say I have a mind, and third, you are alive. Okay, I mean, that's the bottom line. You're alive. Those 3 areas. And you have to evolve in all three in balance, or you're out of kilter in your life and things don't work out for you. I mean, that's the bottom line. Now, let's look at taking control of your mind. That's important because that's where everything begins. Because scientists tell us that we're only using between 3 to 5% of our mental capabilities. Now, let's be very clear here. I'm not saying that you're only using 3 to 5% of your brain. You know, we know scientifically that you're using most of your brain all the time. But your mind's a different thing. So many people, even in the coaching business, they interchange mind and brain. They're like two separate animals. A good analogy would be that your brain is like a computer, but it doesn't do anything yet. And your mind is like the software that makes it all work, that taps into its potential and so on and so forth. That would be a good analogy, okay? Now, experience your life force. Now, I mean, this is something that, you know, most people don't ever think about. Because, let me put it this way. What is the difference between you and a dead person? Imagine this, for example. Let's suppose that right now, right beside you on the floor, you've got a dead body. Person died, you know, 10 or 15 minutes ago of natural causes. Well, my question is, what is the difference between you and that dead body? Of course, the simple answer is, I'm alive and he's dead, right? But what is that makes you alive? Scientifically, we call it the life force. But here's the issue with that, okay? You are so intimately connected, you know, like Siamese twins, to that life force, that when that life force leaves your body, you leave with it. That's how connected you are. Think about that. Nobody has ever said, oh, my life force left, but I'm still here. Never happened, never ever will, you see? So, therefore, this is all scientific knowledge, okay? This is fact. And nobody disputes that who has two brain cells to rub together, right? But here's the thing. If you are that intimately connected to it, would it not make perfect sense that you should be able to connect with it, tune into it, while you are alive? You know, that's what all the great masters in our history were teaching. They were all teaching the same thing, basically, you know? You see, the real secret to life is to, first of all, take charge of your mind. And that's the very first thing that we do in our training. Take charge of your mind so that you can start, you know, getting your life organized the way that you want. I don't tell you how to run your life. I give you tools and techniques, teach you how to use them, and then you experience it for yourself. This is not a path of philosophy or belief systems or religion or anything like that. This is a path of knowledge. Walk the journey and you'll know. You don't have to believe anything. You don't have to believe a damn thing that I say. That's the bottom line. So, the next thing is to experience your life force, like we talked about earlier, okay? Like, you see, here's the issue. If your mind is just super, you're at the top 1% of IQ, you belong to Mensa, the whole thing. It does not mean that you have any wisdom. On the other hand, you could be a spiritual guru who's been meditating for 30 or 40 years and you're experiencing the bliss of the infinite consciousness that powers you. You know, you're experiencing that God force, if you will, you know. But unless that person has developed their minds, they don't have any wisdom. But if you combine the two, the mind and the experience of life force, and that's the journey of the heart, by the way, but that's a whole different story, you know. But if you put them together, now you have the wisdom. You see, in other words, now you're starting to get a little bit smarter, and you might just decide to get serious about your health, take care of your body. Because your body, there's something very, very special about it. Guess what? It's the only one you'll ever have for your journey on this planet. And how you look after it, and 95% of the knowledge in that field is totally wrong. You know, look at the obesity rates in, say, North America. Depending on which stat you listen to, somewhere between 70 to 80% of the whole U.S. population is overweight, and half of those are obese. And here where I live in Canada, yeah, we're about maybe 10 points behind or so, trying hard to catch up. Okay? So obviously, all the knowledge about health and weight loss is wrong. If something does not work, it's wrong. You see? So that's the whole idea, to learn. But you see, even that begins up here. If you're overweight, where's your weight? Upper body, stomach, hips, thighs, butt, whatever. Where are you carrying your weight, or all of the above? Think about it. Where are you carrying it? Guess what? I don't know you, but I know that you're wrong because you are carrying your weight between your ears. That's the bottom line. Take charge of your habits, which is easy with the right tools, and bingo, the fat melts away. So all these things, it doesn't matter if it's weight loss, business, or whatever, you see. You see, real development is not about memorizing more data. I mean, look, you need more data. It used to be at one time that, it was about, memorizing more data, you see. But just because you gather more data, you don't need to go and do extensive studies. Today you want knowledge. All you do is you ask the Oracle, the Oracle, that all-knowing entity. Well, some people call it Google, okay? All right? You see, it's not about memorizing data. It's about taking your consciousness to a whole new level of experience. The path of knowledge, not of beliefs, okay? Let's be very clear about that, and I can't repeat that often enough. Now let's get to the three main points that I said that you need to do to evaluate, to be like your checklist to evaluate life coaching. All right? Now, number one, method of payment. Okay? How are you paying for it? Is it a big upfront, or do you pay as you go? Very important. Now, if the knowledge is real, they can afford to let you pay as you go, but if it's not really real, if it's not the best, if it'll not help you to achieve your actual goals, after a month or a few months or a couple of months or whatever, you're going to drop out. So they have to hook you up front with the money so that you stick there throughout. You see, that's the issue. Now, is there a large investment up front? The larger the investment, okay, the more iffy that course would be, in my opinion. And I'll come to why in a moment. And secondly, follow-up courses. And this is something very important that you have to ask. Let's say that, you take a $300 course, okay? Now, before you even invest your money, you should be asking the question, are there follow-up courses? And how much do they cost? Okay? Because, you see, that $300 course, it's going to make you feel good. You're going to learn a little bit about yourself. You're going to be a little more positive in your life, and so on. Maybe a bit of confidence, and you're feeling good about your future. But guess what? Your life hasn't changed very much. And in that $300 course, you find out that one of the main purposes of that $300 course is to sell you on the $3,000 course. And the same thing, you're going to feel even better about yourself and so on and so forth. But now the purpose of that course is to sell you the $30,000 course. And it happens a whole lot more often than you might imagine. Okay? So it's important to look at that. This is your checklist, Now, of course, right, the ideal situation, right, would be life coaching up front, and you pay after you get the result. Now, wouldn't that make sense? Now, you can search the internet for, 10, 20 years. You're not going to find that, Does it exist? That doesn't exist out there. Oops, made a mistake. It does exist right here. And I'm going to explain in a moment. Okay, here we go. Now, first of all, I believe that knowing these secrets in those three areas of life, the essence of it, should be a human right. That's the whole bottom line. Now, what I've done is, over the years, I've taken the essence of all three and put them together in synergy in a very powerful, accelerated course of personal growth and development, so that you can really tap into your potential, not just think about the possibilities, because that's what you get for so many of the courses out there. Now, so I've decided to come out of retirement, and I reveal all of these secrets, okay? I reveal all of these secrets, right, for a monthly payment. Get ready for this one. The monthly payment is a monthly donation. Donation, okay? In other words, you might start out, you give a token donation to get started. That's what gets you into the system, for example. The technology works that way, It could be any amount you feel would be, hey, if Armin is telling me the truth, I'd be willing to pay this much per month, and I can afford it, you see. And that's the bottom line of how you donate. You donate based on what you are getting out of it and on what you can afford. A lot of people are unemployed these days, don't have any money. So, if you're charging anywhere near what this knowledge is worth, the people who need it the most would not be able to afford it. They're left out. And the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And that's what's been happening in our society. And it will keep on going. Now, so what I'm offering is executive life coaching with a professional online life coach. Now, and also certified life coach training if you want a career change in your life, or you would like to just make a lucrative part-time income. So, this is with the ultimate life coaching online. And as you progress through, you'll find out, if you continue with this series, you'll find out why it's the ultimate in life coaching online. And I hold live weekly classes at, like I said, at a price that everybody can afford, even if you're unemployed. I mean, look, if you're unemployed, you can afford a small donation. Now, on the other hand, there is no free lunch. Okay, there's no free lunch. If you can't afford what these teachings are worth to you, and trust me, no matter how much money you've got, when you start to understand what you're getting out of this, you realize you could never pay. And you don't have enough money to pay for what it's doing for you. Okay, what it's doing for you in your own life, right? So, you can make up the difference by being a volunteer for our community. And this is what I'm doing. I'm developing a community where, our students can interact with each other so they can share their success and so on and so forth, because this is such an accelerated path of growth that the people around you, unless they're on the same journey, will not be able to understand where you're going, where you're coming from, because you'll be evolving so quickly. And you'll be seeing where they're missing the boat, but they can't see that. They won't listen anyway. So you need people that you can discuss this with intelligently, at least, So, you see, because the real learning happens in my live classes. And, you see, the first 2 lessons are free. No strings whatsoever. And the first lesson is pre-recorded. And you can go in a moment and go and listen to that first lesson. It's 50 minutes long. But first, I actually have a short presentation which will really give you the overview, a really good overview of that first lesson. And trust me, when you look at that first lesson, that lesson progresses and progresses all the way through in your understanding. So you'll want to, relax. It's 50 minutes and watch the whole thing. And trust me, you're going to find a vehicle, if you will, to evolve your being. I don't tell you how to run your life. I give you tools and techniques and show you how to use them, and you experience it for yourself. This is a path of knowledge, not a path of beliefs or philosophies or religion or anything like that. Okay? So, if you like what you hear in the short presentation, then I'll give you the link so you can go and watch lesson 1 right away. So you don't have to wait for this. Now, lesson 2 is a live class in my online classroom where you can ask all of your questions in real time, and that's really important, especially on this journey. And also, up to this point, you will not have spent one single dime of your money. Also, you can become a life coach online because I have life coach training online, and all of my coaches have to come from my own students. Nobody else is teaching this. All the experts, are coaching an expert in, say, one area of life, but they know very little about the other 2. I happen to have good expertise on all 3, and I've taken the essence out of them, put them together in synergy for this powerful training. Now, also I have, for if you want to become a life coach, a paid apprenticeship program. After going through your basic training, taking anywhere from 3 to 4 months for most classes, and also getting a little bit of life coach training, okay? Then you can begin coaching in a very light manner, but getting paid for it. And I'll explain that much more in the coming videos and shows. Now, you actually also get to practice in the classroom in your very basic training. And it's not just for life coaches, it's for coaches, people who want to become a coach, and also people just who want to grow, okay? So you have 2 types, but you actually get to practice in the classroom, and I'll explain that in another video. You can see a special introduction on becoming a life coach, and if you like what to hear, you can get instant access to a private video which will give you in-depth details. Now, I've put a link in the description below this video, and I've also put a link to the class introduction in the video below. And if you're interested in becoming a life coach, you should listen to both introductions and take the lesson 1 to the free lesson and see what that's about. And if you want to be a life coach, go watch that private video also. Because there's no point in wanting to become a life coach if you don't understand where the lessons are going. It wouldn't make any sense, right? Now, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment to let me know. And if you didn't like the video, leave me a comment and tell me how I can improve. Now remember to subscribe and ring the bell, and congratulations for watching this whole video. It looks like you are ready to learn. So here's what to do next. To watch the introduction to the classes themselves, click on the card above, and to watch the introduction to the Life Coach training, click on the card below. And I have also put both links in the text below, like I said earlier. And take the time to listen to my shows and videos, because you'll begin to understand why I can make the claims that I do. So stay safe and have a great life.